It's a good thing Courtney was there, the tech support department.
Seriously.
Or IT lady.
Right. Well, it is 2:02. I think we should probably get this started. Don't you think?
Let's do it. Hello, everyone, from the land of smoke and wildfires here in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
I'm Peter Clausen from Bugs In Cyberspace, and I co-host this podcast with Jesse Green from Shapes in Nature. This live stream event is being broadcasted on Instagram and will be posted on the Shapes in Nature podcast at podbean.com and on the Shapes in Nature YouTube channel. This is our third podcast in the Animal Talk series, and we'll mention some of the guests we'll be interviewing in upcoming shows. The majority of podcasts won't likely be about bugs, but bugs are what Jesse and I like best. After all, they are the most diverse group of animals on the planet. Today, we're going to learn more about Bug Guy, Mr. Shapes in Nature himself, Jesse Green.
Okay. All right.
We'll be taking some questions from the audience a little later, and of course, as before, we'll do a trivia contest near the end where you'll all have an opportunity to win some awesome Shapes in Nature stickers. And with that, welcome Jesse Green, and how are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm staying out of the smoke. It's bad this morning. So this morning, when we woke up, there was fog as well, and we literally thought like everything was burning down. I didn't realize it was fog at first, and I just thought it was really bad smoke, and you couldn't even see beyond the street. I was like, this isn't safe. I was just like, what is going on? And then they were like, luckily, there's a lot of fog out going around. And I was like, oh, that's good. We need that humidity. So
on airquality.gov or something, it says for the first time ever, hazardous conditions. Like we're not supposed to be outside breathing.
Portland has the worst air quality in the world right now.
Yeah, on the map, we were like a totally different color even than California, where there are more wildfires, but the concentration of particulate matter in the air isn't nearly as bad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We were going to do this outside in your backyard again.
Well, yeah, we were actually going to have possibly even have two shows this weekend, which we ended up not doing. One of them we were going to do with Tristan, of course, invertebrate dude, with about cockroaches, and then another one we were going to do with lemurs, my friend Rachel. But it's not going to happen right now. Air quality is a little rough. So maybe next week, hopefully. Next week we do, however, have Frank on with us. He is a dragonfly master and takes some amazing photos of dragonflies, loves them, and we're going to talk all about the incredible hunters in the sky. So that'll be a good time. I'm
excited about that.
He might even be out in nature. Like he said, it should be a pretty nice day. He might actually be out catching dragonflies while on our live to show us the different diversity just to where he lives. So that'll be pretty sweet.
I can't wait for that show. I'm really excited to talk to him and learn more about dragonflies. I don't know that much about them as a group.
Jack the Ripper. What's up, Jack the Ripper? Dragonflies are underrated. Yeah, I do. They really are. I mean, I don't know. They're pretty popular and all, but I think that they're popular because of their looks more than what they actually do. And I think what they do is what makes them absolutely incredible, how they hunt. And I mean, even their larva is just intense.
They're big bugs, and they command the skies in the bug world.
That's true. Yeah.
And, along with ladybugs and butterflies, they're pretty much one of the most iconic insects out there. You'll see them decorating babies' clothing and, pictures of dragonflies on the wall. So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was all my clothing when I was a child, I'm sure. But,
I'm sure, too.
I stopped wearing that last year at least. So...
Let's talk about your origins. Everybody listening to the show knows that it's called Shapes in Nature Live Animal Talk. But tell us about your business and what's your mission statement?
My business? Well, it's pretty plain and simple. I love wildlife, and I would say that probably my biggest influence is biodiversity. I love animals. I love all animals. People are always like, oh, you probably don't like, no, I love all animals. I love mosquitoes. I love ticks, mildly, but I love their design, and that's the best part about them is In my mission statement is that we are dedicated to the importance and abundance of wildlife biodiversity on our planet. And by showing that, I like to show different animals. So I started drawing animals in kind of my, I guess, style that I do now in around 2004, but I didn't really think much of it until about 2006 when I realized that I really like, you can keep ticks, yeah, true that. I really liked drawing these animals, and I drew around 100 of them in 2006. And then I guess kind of throughout the years, I kind of kept going with it. And 2008, a friend of mine and I were like, man, we should make a clothing company out of this. And it didn't happen, of course, until 2019. It only took 11 years. But
that's your business partner, Daniel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he lives in Sacramento, where I'm originally from, but I've been up here about 11 years now. So, but no, I mean, the thing with wildlife is you can go anywhere. You can go in your backyard. You can go to the Galapagos Islands. You can go to the park down the street, and you're going to see something different every single time. There's going to be things in your backyard that the Galapagos Islands doesn't have. And I know that it sounds, way bigger to be, to go to some other place in the jungle, and you're going to find, different things and maybe even a lot more. But there are things here that doesn't have either. So it's just awesome.
So you are an artist, and you create images and products for companies and organizations that help to conserve animals. Who have you worked with, and what have you done with them?
Well, there's a lot of other people we're going to be working with in the future as well. But so far, I have ties to the Oregon Zoo. I used to work there. And the Oregon Zoo has a condor program, which is helping to release condors back into the wild, which is one of the most endangered birds in the world. And so I had this idea of making a condor shirt that would raise funds for those efforts. And so 80% of the funds of that shirt actually went to the condor research. And what's really awesome is we actually got to go behind the scenes. We are going to be releasing a video of that at some point. We got to actually go behind the scenes to the actual facility where they raise these condors, and people are not allowed there. It is very strict to be there. They want these condors to be as wild as possible. And so it was really cool to get to see them and actually even get to touch one, which is pretty amazing. So, but it was, they're huge. That is like one of the largest birds I've ever witnessed. I mean, they're just gigantic. So I've also done see them. Yeah, I did another shirt with the zoo for World Rivers Day with my. It just said Oregon Zoo on it, and I didn't make very many of them, but it was for like a little fundraiser. But it had my lamprey on it. If you don't know what a lamprey is, look it up. It's this crazy freshwater sucker fish that's a parasite to other fish. It's crazy. And we actually raised them, and they actually sort of are endangered. There's getting a lot more research about them, and so that's what this shirt was for, was to kind of help raise some funds. And we worked with CritFic on that, which is an intertribal committee that helps protect those animals. So it's pretty awesome. I did stuff with Trunks and Leaves. Trunks and Leaves is an organization that helps protect elephants out in the wild. You say that? Oh, I'm going to say this real quick. Would you say that condor conservation efforts are the best in-class example, or are there better examples? Let me get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. But I was going to say with Trunks and Leaves, we're actually going to be traveling to India, so we may actually be getting to meet the people that are out in Sri Lanka or out in Bangalore, and actually talk to these people. So this is going to be pretty awesome, and meet the elephants that they help protect. So a lot of elephants are struggling out there. So it's going to be a good time. And we're going to do another shirt design with that. We're going to do the same. That's the shirt I'm wearing. I just realized it's my elephant shirt right there. But anyways, yeah. So I mean, we still have some stuff in the future. We did a Bowling for Rhino shirt that helped protect rhinos. I did 100% of the proceeds went to that. I just made the designs, but there's a lot more about that coming soon. So
you raised a lot of money for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So why are you so passionate about animals and helping them, and who inspired you along the way?
I mean, I'm sure the same man that inspired a lot of people. Steve Irwin was a very big inspiration in my life. The whole Irwin family in general. And, what was that quote he said? He said, humans do not own the planet. We share it with wildlife. It's something like that. And that really has always kind of stuck with me. We do share this planet. We share this planet with many animals that need to be here. And if those animals are gone, this whole world falls apart. And I'm a strong believer in that. And it's really important that we uphold that and we keep that balance and we keep our ecosystems going. We keep our waterways clean. And my biggest inspiration is the wildlife themselves. I love wildlife. I love seeing what they do every day. I love all the different, beetles and bees and wasps. Everyone, loves bees because they're pollinators, but they don't realize most honeybees aren't even as good at pollinators as many wasps are. And wasps are just as imperative as a honeybee. And there's so many different bugs, like, even mosquitoes. People don't like mosquitoes, but I'll tell you, they definitely are a huge pollinator, and they also are one of the biggest food sources for all of the animals in the entire animal kingdom. So they're actually, believe it or not, Peter, important. Yeah. Set aside the females.
I'm important to mosquitoes too. I know it.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Let's get back to the Irwins. Didn't you meet the Irwins one time?
I did. They came to the zoo one time, and I don't ever fanboy, I don't ever do that. But with them, I had to hold everything in. I was like so excited. I mean, as soon as I actually heard them, I wasn't paying attention and I was working on something. And then I heard them mention the Australia Zoo and I heard the voice and I was like, that's Terry Irwin, I was like, wait a minute. And I turned around and there she was. And I was like, oh, wow. Hello. And it was so cool because it was like me and maybe a couple other people in the store and one other employee. And so it was really quiet. So I could actually talk to them and have a conversation with them. And it was amazing. And it was awesome. And there's very good possibility of us meeting them in the future again as well. So I do have contact.
That would be amazing.
So that's another thing that'll be coming down the line eventually.
Let's do it in Australia.
Well, and that's one thing I didn't mention is, the Australia sticker packs. I donated 100%. We raised around $1,200 for the wildlife warriors during the time when they were having those really crazy fires out there. I mean, wildlife warriors saved over 90,000 animals, 90,000 individual animals during that time. I mean, that's how detrimental it was out there. And so Wildlife Warriors is ran by the Australia Zoo and was founded by Steve Irwin. So for people who don't know that. So it's pretty cool to have gotten to raise some funds and donate to that.
How many stickers and designs did you make for that?
So there are a total of 27 stickers, but 24 different designs.
Uh-huh.
So,
you had the platypus. You had some animals I'd never even heard of. Rhino roach. What was that animal with the really funny name?
The numbat?
That's the one.
Come on, Peter. That's got to be your favorite. There was a lot. It was hard actually to do that. It was really hard to do those because I had to choose 24 out of all of the endemic species out there. There's thousands of animals out there. So it was praying mantis. It was furry and fluorescent yellow with red. Interesting.
We'll take your guys' questions a little bit later. I'm going to ask Jesse a few more questions about his origins and his business, and then we'll be taking some Q&A. And then, of course, we'll end with a trivia contest at the end of the show here. Jesse, what are some of your early childhood memories, and what stories do your parents tell about those early years and your experience with nature?
Oh, boy.
I've talked to your parents. I know a few of these stories.
I think my mom's favorite story, it kind of goes hand in hand because it has to do with frogs. I mean, I was obsessed with anything I can carry when I was a kid. Like, if I could collect it, I wanted it. And even if it was venomous or not, I wanted all of it, which is, I don't know how I survived, but I did. So my mother told me, I was really little, I was probably about 3, and I would carry a frog around all day if I'd find a frog, all day. And finally, at the end of the night, if it magically survived, I would start crying because I'd have to let it go, and she would take me out to the backyard, and she would go, "Listen, Jesse," and you would hear all the frogs, out in the fields, and she'd go, "That's his family, trying to bring him back. They're calling for him, Jesse." And I'd be like, "Okay," and I'd, like, super sad, like, let it go. And then, of course, the next day when I found another one, I'd be like, "He came back," but my parents would be like, "Are you kidding me? That frog is in Mexico by now if he survived." Like that. And so it was, because my mother also tells me about the story of when she would be doing my laundry.
Yes.
And yeah. Oh, did she tell you about this one already?
Yes, she did. You weren't there.
Oh, of course she did.
But yes.
She was doing my laundry. She pulled something out of my pocket. She was like, "What is this?" And she realized it was this, like, petrified, mummified frog that had been probably in my pocket for who knows how long. Of course, the life and times of raising Jesse Green. That's kind of how that is.
You put your mom through some trials and tribulations.
Had many
Tell
things
the story
escape.
about your tarantula.
Did it got out?
No, the first pet tarantula.
Oh, right. Yes. You mean that my parents almost got divorced over my tarantula?
That's the story, yes.
Oh, man. Yeah, my mom did not want a tarantula, but my dad went ahead and got it anyways. And it was like my favorite thing ever. I mean, come on, who doesn't? There's my mom right there. Yes, he did. Yeah, but Mom, come on, that tarantula made me the man I am today. No kidding. The weird bug lover. But no. So yeah, my mom had to deal with a lot and survived. She survived. She made it. She's a lot stronger for it. She had one of my snakes get out and end up in her bathroom once. That was a funny time. She was not happy about that.
You had a large collection of things. Did you have a dedicated room that they gave you? Maybe
yeah, my bedroom.
Okay.
My bedroom had.
You had a lot in there.
Yeah, I had a lot of, and in fact, I think it was when either my Vietnamese centipede got out, or maybe one of my scorpions. I can't remember. And that was like my mom's last straw, because I was sleeping in the family room, and she was like, "What are you doing out there?" And I was like, "Something's in my room that got out." Then they all ended up going outside or in the garage. So that's
yep.
Yeah.
We lost an emperor scorpion in my house one time many years ago, and it was the day before I was going to meet everybody. My ex-wife's family was coming to town. It was the first time I was ever going to meet them. And it threw everything into chaos there for the 24 hours between when we figured out that it was gone and figured out that we weren't going to find it, and that people were showing up to the house and deciding whether we should mention it or pretend like it never happened and hope it didn't make an appearance during this sort of family type reunion. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
The trick is you just got to make it a game, It's just a game. It's the prize scorpion. Whoever finds it gets a point, Yeah.
Prey versus predator, life versus death. Yeah. Everybody loves that game.
It's fine. Christmases are great for that,
Yeah.
Like Easter eggs, Who knows what's hidden in those things?
That's what it's like to visit Jesse's house. It's survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest.
He's made it this far. Were your parents passionate about animals too?
I mean, my parents have a high respect for it, and my dad definitely is. I mean, my dad grew up just like me, going out, finding the bugs out in Oklahoma, and I didn't grow up in Oklahoma, but he got to, find box turtles and all kinds of cool stuff. And what about scorpions? Yeah, I definitely have had a lot of scorpions. But yeah, so, my dad really, I think, kind of instilled that in me a lot more than my mother. Sorry, Mom. Not Mom. She'll even admit to it right now. Yeah,
she commented.
She likes cats and dogs and stuff, the kind of stuff you hate, Peter,
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the kinds of pets that roam your house, to be honest.
Right. I love them all. Peter. So
When did you start to draw, and have your subjects always been about animals, or were
no,
you an artist first and came to drawing animals later?
I mean, I've always, when I was a little kid, I mean, I don't really, as far as my earliest memories of drawing, I was in grade school and I was drawing things like, I would draw these cartoon characters that were like dragons and knights. And I even drew like a whole comic book of these things where it was these dragons versus knights. And then there was even like lizard people. And there was all kinds of stuff in it, and had this weird alien that came in the whole comic book thing. I used to draw those all the time, so everything was very animal based, with the exception of the knights. And then I got into drawing Marvel comic characters for a long time. Venom was my favorite. Sorry, Venom's the best. Venom and Carnage. I just love drawing them. I love how fluid they are. And Spider-Man, of course, was always probably my favorite. Can't lie on that one.
Good choice.
Yeah, of course. And that's kind of how I started. But in 2004, I drew these cats for my aunt, and kind of that style that I use now. And
what do you call that style? How would you describe that style of drawing? It's
well,
largely black and white as you draw it.
I guess it's sort of abstract with shapes. So, yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of my artwork is very heavily influenced by a lot of Native American work, to a lot of different artwork within India. And so I love the heavy shapes. I love taking a shape and forming it into something. And I think that that's really where that passion kind of started, of drawing that. And of course, naturally, my mind went to animals. So as I would shape something out, it would kind of end up turning into an animal. I have some really old drawings where I would put images inside of them. Like I have a face that's inside of a butterfly, or a face that's inside of a bird, and there's two bird heads that act, if you look at it from a certain angle, that make the wings. It's pretty crazy. So
I'm always looking for where you hide your logo in your design. Every time I see something new of yours, I'm looking for where it is. Is it in every one of your drawings, hiding somewhere?
My original drawings have none of my logo. All of my original those are randomly inserted digitally, of course, within my stickers. And I would say about 85% of my stickers will have my logo hidden inside of them. Not all of them. So only if they fit right. I sometimes intentionally will draw a circle in the original drawing to make it become that logo. That's for sure. So
how do you typically choose what you're going to draw next? I know you do series sometimes, like the Australian series, but if you're not doing a series, how do you choose?
When I first started drawing these, it was just kind of at random, whatever came to my head. I actually didn't start using photo references until about 4 years ago. I would just kind of think of an animal and kind of try to work it out and play with it. But I really started using photo references because it really got more of that anatomical correctness to it that I really like drawing. I like having it more anatomically correct. So I started using photo references for that reason, but I still have to kind of make the connection on the paper. And of course I'm at liberty to kind of change it up and do what I want with it. But when I first started, it was just all forming those shapes together and whatnot. So it's a long process, but it's still unfolding. There's still more I'm trying to do with it. I really would like to combine kind of how I drew my animal designs earlier with what I do now, and kind of form more of that, I guess, what do you call it? Artistic shape rather than realistic looking, but it's just kind of how that goes. I mean, each animal I draw kind of has its own difference to it, in my opinion. And sometimes they're more realistic looking. Sometimes they're a little bit more, I guess, tribal or whatever you want to call it, looking. Or it just kind of depends on the moment, I guess, when I draw it. But as far as the series, I started doing that last year, where I really wanted to focus on a purpose for each one of my designs, and I really wanted to have a reason for drawing them and to tell a story. And so that's why I do a series of animals a lot of times. And of course I take commissions in between. But So with the Australia animals, that's really kind of a big part of how it kind of started was that I took those animals and decided to create 24 different animals in that area and then tell the story of those animals, what's going on. And I try to, of course, separate it between mammal, bird, arthropod. I haven't really done a whole lot of sea life in these series. I need to kind of start including that more in them as well. But I'll get on there. So it's all in good time.
I'm not an artist. I've taken a few art classes in my life, I suppose, but it never really worked for me. How do you take this image from your mind and it flows into your hand somehow and ends up on the paper? I can't understand that process, how you do that. Some people are just naturals when it comes to drawing, and other people have to sort of, force it and practice. Are you still getting better?
Yeah, I'm always getting better. I mean, I'm always trying to improve. I'm always thinking of new ways. I want to start creating designs with a lot more of like background and scenery in it and whatnot, having more foliage and plant life within the design. Even water, that kind of stuff. What about a lionfish? I do have a lionfish design, actually. That's one of my favorite designs I've ever created, actually. It's pretty cool. But as far as how I come up with it, it really used to have to kind of come to me when I first started drawing this. But now with photo referencing, I'm really able to take any animal I want and kind of go from that area. But anyways, we're looking at about 2:30 right now. We could probably start taking questions and whatnot.
Someone asked if there was a story for the Bunny Harvestman sticker. That's one of my favorite stickers of yours, and I don't know why I haven't gotten any of those. I haven't actually seen that sticker in person yet.
You haven't seen that one?
I have
really?
Not. I know, it's strange.
I really wanted to draw more arachnids, and I love Harvestmen. Harvestmen are awesome. I was going to draw a Venone originally, and when I was looking at photo references, I was like, man, the bunny harvestman is such a cool thing. It's like, it looks like a peep candy almost, like bunny on top of an arachnid, So
yeah, got those little ears.
Yeah, it's so cool. I would love to see one in person. Oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. But yeah, that's really why I drew it. I wanted to have, I actually wanted to have more bug designs, and I sometimes just get in a bug drawing mood because they're my favorite to draw, hands down. So, I was just thinking, I was like, man, I haven't drawn a harvestman yet. I didn't have a whole lot of arachnids drawn, which there's so many more I need to draw. It's a must. But I need to draw a Venone for sure. That's such a cool design. I think it was like a space invader,
I'm scrolling back through the comments here, and your mother says, "Be careful, Peter, I'm here."
Have you ever seen bugs called tomcat? I'm not sure I have. Tomcat bug?
I haven't heard of it. I've not heard of that either.
I'm Preet. Good night. Good night. What's your most dangerous?
From India.
Oh, right on. Someone just asked, "What's your most dangerous animal encounter?" Man, I have encountered bears in the wild, but I wouldn't really say I was in danger. I did have that moose, though. That moose was scary. Up in Canada, when we went up, that was scary. That was probably the scariest animal I've ever seen in the wild, is a moose, hands down.
That's a very large animal.
Yeah, and I was with people that, we weren't even really I was with people that had no idea about wildlife at all. So it was don't spook, and they were not happy about it, so. But generally wildlife, I haven't really, I haven't been out into the jungles or in Africa or anything like that, so I haven't come across, some lion staring me down in the face or something like that, or, so. But
a lot of rattlesnakes down in Arizona.
Yeah.
California. You've probably encountered a few venomous snakes.
I've been around coral snakes, but they don't really bite. I've seen rattlesnakes too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've had one strike at me before. I had one bite my shoe one time. Okay, Jesse, I need to know, will you do a Borneo pack? The land of many animals, flying reptiles, and giant colorful bugs. I will, yes. I am absolutely going to do a Borneo pack at some point. I even already have that down on the list. I absolutely, yeah. Especially with pangolins. So,
Orangutan.
Yep, orangutans are definitely. I want to do a whole orangutan family. I want to do the male, the female, and the baby because those babies are so cute. So,
Courtney is reminding us that there was that question about the condor conservation efforts and if they are best in class.
that is very much a success story. In 97 or I can't remember how long ago, but basically we were down to almost like 20 remaining condors in the wild, right? And we actually caught those condors and put them into in captivity to breed them. And today we have around 700 condors in existence. So all the way down from 20 to 700 is quite a success story, especially because it's still being built. And about 480 of those are actually in the wild. So that's amazing. I mean, that is very successful. There are other stories. The black-footed ferret is one of them. That's quite a comeback story. I know that salmon kind of fluctuates as far, but I think personally the condor story is just incredible because that was so if we didn't intervene, those animals would be gone today easily. They would not be around. I would say they're a lot more of a success story than pandas. So, but that's because pandas don't even like to breed in the wild if they wanted to. So,
Invertebrate dudes suggesting that if you do a Borneo pack, and I guess I didn't realize this roach came from there, Archaeblata is a really giant cockroach that, sort of rivals the rhino roach from Australia, which you drew in the Australian pack. In terms of size, that would be a neat one. Arthropod Ambassadors is asking about walruses and if they've made any kind of comeback. Do you know anything about walruses?
I really don't.
Do we have them at the Oregon Zoo?
No.
Okay.
I've actually only seen walruses at San Diego Zoo. I know that other zoos carry them, but the Oregon Zoo may have had them at one point, maybe years ago in like the 80s or something like that, but I wasn't around. As far as I really don't know much about walruses. That's an animal that I think is awesome and definitely something I want to draw and learn more about. But I've been very focused on the things I've been working on specifically that haven't really had time to branch out much. I know that polar bears, I know a lot about polar bears and they're not the most successful, but they are being kept in balances. There's definitely, it kind of goes up and down at least, which isn't the end of the world, but they still need a lot of help. And that's also a climate change issue. So I've had a water moccasin wrap my foot from coming out of a rock. Oh, that would not be fun. I would not want to have a water moccasin attached to me at all.
A couple people mentioning black widows. I guess that's another thing that we see when we're down in Arizona or California traveling. See them pretty frequently. I'm
from California. I see black widows all the time. In fact, actually, that was a pretty crazy moment. When I first moved to this little like studio house that was behind my parents' house, and there was just black widows like everywhere. I mean, I had to kind of do some spraying and stuff, and I mean, they were just coming out. I probably saw 100-something black widows, no joke, not even exaggerating. There's a bunch of immatures. They were little ones, but there were so many I've never seen. And I wasn't really. Black widows are pretty actually very tame, and I've held them before. They're not going to really do much, but that was a lot of black widows. That was.
Place must have been vacant for a while.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think someone had been living in there for quite some time. So I think someone had passed away or something like that. I don't know. But I've had a rattlesnake strike at me, but the moose was scariest. Trust me, you ever see a moose in the wild and it's close to you, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's literally like a tank with like giant antlers and can plow through the snow like nothing. The snow is like butter to it. It can run 30 miles an hour in the snow, and it doesn't want you there. No, whether it doesn't matter, it doesn't want you there. And they can smell you from miles away.
Well, someone said that they just caught their first native stick insect this week and that their 5-year-old is in love. I've never lived in a place where we could just go outside and find stick insects. And of course, those are a near and dear to my heart group of insects. And so I'd love to live in a place where we could see them. The first ones I ever saw, my grandma had brought up. They lived in South Dakota, but they would go down to Brownsville, Texas to spend the winters down there. And they would drive back up and bring me lots of bugs that she had collected down in her yard. And there were always these big stick insects that she had carefully pinned in styrofoam boxes for me. And I would transfer them very carefully into my own childhood dead insect collection. So really neat.
Yeah, I've had stick bugs when I was a kid and stuff, but I never really saw them in the wild until I went into Arizona when I was a kid. And then I found them all the time in Arizona.
Grant wanted to talk about the Galapagos tortoises, and I think there's one named Diego in particular. Are you familiar with Diego, the Galapagos giant tortoise? I'm not.
Not really. I've heard the name.
Okay.
I've heard the name. I know that. I know that he like rear a bunch of children. Like he had tons of babies and stuff. So yeah, he's a pretty old tortoise too. But I know that that's definitely a success story. A lot of the Galapagos Islands is becoming a success story, and getting all the cats off the island and whatnot was a big part. But
there's a funny comment here, and I think they're talking about you. I just realized you sound like the actor that plays Sheldon on The Big Bang. I know they're talking about
Bazinga!
Arthropod Ambassadors, I told her that we wanted to have her on the show at some point, and she said she wanted to finish Oren's Cockroach book before being in the spotlight. And what I'd love to know about is her business, the traveling bug show business that she's going to be putting together. That's a topic that I'd like to know more about. That's Erin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has a couple different names here on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll have to get her on there. We've already talked about it, so it's definitely in the plan. But when we can do live without having all this crazy smoke going on, would be. Oh yeah, someone said no. I mean Peter. Ha ha, Peter. They meant you.
I knew it. How much time we got? Should we kick into the trivia here, or are we doing okay on time?
We can kick into trivia. Yeah, let's do it. You guys ready for some trivia? Anyone out there ready for some trivia? I remember going on your website and scrolling through everything, begging my parents to buy me pet cockroaches and things. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I bought from Peter when I was younger too. Actually, now that I think about it. First place gets three stickers of their choice. Second place gets 2 stickers of their choice, and third place gets 1 sticker of their choice. And if we end up with a tie, we're going to go to sudden death. And that's where the 2 people that are competing will answer the question. Whoever answers it first gets it next. I will say this ahead of time, guys. It may look like you answered it first on your end, but it's not always the case. So we are going by what we see, and we are definitely double checking. So I'm sorry if it looks like you answered it first, but if I don't see it coming in on my end as first, that's not how it is. So we're going to go by how we see it. So just a heads up.
All right, first question. And this is a 1-pointer. How many legs do camel spiders have? Yep, Mexavirologist.
How many points was that?
That was a 1-pointer.
All right. Oh, actually, we should say, the 8 is the answer. That is the correct answer. We should probably make sure we mention that. So 2 points. Question 1. What class are springtails in? I'm looking for the class. There you go. Grunt Highbone got it.
This next one is a 2-pointer. And what taxonomic insect order are assassin bugs in? Hemiptera, invertebrate, dude, got it.
Yep.
Assassin bugs are in the order Hemiptera.
Here's my second question. It's 1 point. And what are the pinchers on scorpions known as? What are the pinchers on scorpions known as?
Vinegaroons are like this.
Yep.
Scorpions are like this.
Yep.
That was
Insect Forge got it. It is pedipalps.
So we're looking for the scientific name of the eastern Hercules beetle. We're going to give it to Grant Higbone. He didn't spell it correctly, but we weren't requiring a proper spelling. If this were an audio thing, I'm sure he would have pronounced it correctly.
How many points was that?
Dynastes Titius. 2 points.
Hey, Grant, you're in the lead right now, buddy. Just letting you know. So my next question is actually, it's another 1-pointer. And what are the 4 stages of metamorphosis from start to finish? I don't even try to pronounce it. Yeah, you and me both.
So
what are
the
the 4 stages? Yeah, what are the 4 stages of metamorphosis? There it is, Insect Forge. Egg, larva, pupae, adult. Those are the 4 stages of metamorphosis.
All right. Next question is my largest at 3 points. What insect order or group is famous for the adults only living hours or days at most? They'll live a couple years as larvae. Give you a little hint. They are aquatic. Chromesthesia 304 with the answer mayflies. That's correct.
3 point. Wow. In one question, you got into second place. That's good. All right. Well, I got my 3-point question here. So, what subphylum do horseshoe crabs belong to?
That's a Google it. Subphylum. I know it. I think I know it. Does it start with a C? Yep, I got it. Does it end with an A?
Yep.
Oh.
No, subphylum. Yep. Desi's Critters got it.
Woo.
Phyllocerata.
Good job, Desi's Critters. That was a tough one.
That was 3 points.
This is my last question, unless we go to sudden death. If you guys watched our last live stream with Low Heat, you'll maybe remember the answer to this question. What is Jesse's favorite mantis species? And by the way, you guys can find our podcast, Shapes in Nature podcast, at podbean.com. And then we upload to the YouTube channel, Jesse's Shapes in Nature YouTube channel, these live stream events too. Because
Invert Dude got it.
What was it? Idolo mantis. There it is.
All right. Last question for in general. And this is going to be one you get to spell out. You're going to have a great time with this. So yeah, Idolomantis, the devil flower mantis, is my favorite mantis, hands down. It looks like a dragon. I mean, you can't go wrong. In fact, I got to show you this actually real quick. We got time. We got a few minutes. A friend of mine actually made this for me. And I kid you not, it is a stuffed animal, Idolomantis diabolica. And the wings come out, the legs are all bendable. It's like the coolest thing ever. I'm telling you. She has another one for me that I haven't picked up yet, and it's awesome. It's a peanut head bug stuffed animal, and I can't wait to show you when I get it. And Instagram is rad. Yeah, this is Leah Beerley. She's on Instagram. I will definitely be posting about these at some point. But she sells these and makes these, and they're amazing. And the arms are bendable and everything. It's incredible.
That's not a one of a kind?
This is right now. She hasn't made a second one or anything. This is currently a one of a kind, but she can make them. So.
Do you sleep with it?
Every night. No, I'm kidding. Last question is, what is the Latin name of the Rugo's stag beetle? What is the scientific name for the Rugo's stag beetle?
And did you say you wanted them to spell this correctly?
No, they don't have to spell it correctly, but you got
Okay.
it's a long one. What's up, Josh?
Someone just brought home a new Vietnamese centipede. Pray for them. We will pray for you.
Yeah, good luck. What
Everybody's
is
hitting
the
up.
scientific name? Insect Forge.
Cynodendron rugosum. Insect Forge got it. Invertebrate Dude came in number 2 in answering that.
We have 3 people in first place. So we have Invert Dude, Grant, and Insect Forge. They are all in first place. So first person to answer this next question will win in sudden death. So we have to go to sudden death. Sorry, I'm looking at the time and trying to be considerate of it. So this question is going to be a simple one. It's just whoever does it first. What are the small eyes on an insect called? Not the big ones. What are the small eyes on an insect called? And this is between Invert Dude, Grant, and Insect Forge.
Arthropod Ambassador says, I bet they're all playing on real keyboards.
Right.
I see Invertebrate Dude got it. The answer, Oceli.
Yep. There it is. Jeez, Tristan, you won again. All right, Grant
Hashtag
and Insect Forge. This is going to be up to you two for second place. So you guys still have a chance for second place. You guys are still tied. So this is sudden death for second place. Peter, you have the question.
All right. What are the 2 hook-like claws at the tip of an insect's leg called? That's my visual. Insect Forge got it with
There you
the
go.
answer, tarsi. A single one is called a tarsus.
So Insect Forge, do me a favor and message me your address and what stickers you want. Tristan, I already have your address, but you can send me what stickers you want. And Grant, I already have your address as well, but send me what sticker you want. I'll send it with the order that you just placed.
Stickers
Thank
at
you, guys.
shapesandnature.com if you want to look at the stickers.
Yes. I have over 130 of them, so good luck. So hey guys, we have about 2 minutes left, so we're going to wrap this up. Thank you very much for coming, joining us today. We kind of had to do this last second because of all the weather and all the crazy fires that are going on. So we are going to pick up next week to having some cool experts in their field. And we're going to talk about dragonflies and roaches, and eventually we'll be getting on with lemurs. So we'll figure that out.
All right. See you later.
Hey, see you guys.